share this out so that people are coming in. Thanks for joining me if you're out there on the web. Share, and then I will get on camera and we will get rolling. Okay, all right, there we go. Let's see, invite Sheila in here. And, oh, she's here. Okay, there you go. I didn't see you up there when I just now was looking. So let's see. Okay, let's turn on the video. Let's put on the glasses. This up.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Do you want me to mute myself?
As long as you don't have background noise, you don't need to be muted. You can just jump in whenever you feel like it.
I was trying to get on and I couldn't get on. It hadn't started yet. And then,
yeah, and look, you texted me and I'm trying to text you back and I didn't hit the send button. So there you go.
Oh, that's okay. Right. No, and then I had to update the app, so we're here. Well, okay, I guess since we're waiting for people to, awaken from the slumber.
Yeah, let me share it out here with all the followers. Select all.
And we're talking about the new year and restarting and...
Yeah, we're gonna talk. I think I have it set for reflection and intentions, and basically kind of I have 5 key points, and we can talk about some stuff you brought up in your newsletter. Last newsletter and this one, I think both of them were amazing. So yeah, I don't think we need to wait too long. I'm gonna do my intro real quick. You just let me know whenever you're ready for camera, okay? Although I think you have controls, so you can do it whenever you're ready yourself, actually.
Okay, I'm going to mute myself while
Okay. So my name is Deanna. I am the host of the Laughter After Trauma show, and I'm a speaker, educator, and coach that brings light and lightness to the heavy topic of trauma. And what we're doing here today is sharing that hope and showcasing that hope and the importance of connection. I believe that we're all magic. We are self-healers. I am a thriver after intimate partner violence, and it brought me to find the beauty in the laughter and healing. And so that's what I do when I coach others, is I help them to find their laughter after trauma and abuse. Today's topic is a trauma tools room that I co-host with Sheila Tam, who is here on the stage with me. And what we do is we like to really involve the audience in our conversation with this, because this show in particular is less about an interview and more about interaction. and letting you guys become part of the show. And if you have questions or things you want to add, by all means do so. Again, today's show is going to be reflections and intentions. So we're here, we're in 2023, we made it. Sometimes I don't know how, but we did. And so there was a lot of energy stuff going on. And if you know Sheila, Sheila is an energy worker. I think she just got finished with her new certification in hypnotherapy, so she can talk a little bit about that.
Almost. I'm waiting for my video assessment feedback, so we're crossing fingers.
Okay, I'm sure you did fabulous. Come on now. All right. So with that, we'll talk. We're going to touch on a bunch of different subjects, but I'm going to go through some five points, and then we're going to expand on these. But I want you to be thinking about this and actually participate in this. Maybe put some pen to paper, write some of this stuff down so that you have some clear intentions for the new year. So the first thing I want to bring up here is, before we get into these 5 pointers, is the difference between setting resolutions and setting intentions. And intentions are what you want to put the impetus behind your goals. Goals are fine. It's good. You have to have something to aim for, but they are fluid. They are flexible. Resolutions, they don't do anything. Most people have already missed out on their resolutions. They put things off already. You start off going, oh, I'm going to do this. And guess what? The first of the year was on a Monday, and everybody was like, oh, yeah, well, we can't start on the very first day of the year, so we'll start next Monday because whatever, we have these markers as to where we need to start and what we need to do. And then the things we set are usually kind of out in space. They're not very specific. We can't measure them. We don't have anybody holding us accountable. And so these things, they just kind of fall flat. So I think we have to get over the notion of resolutions, and we really need to start thinking about how we set our goals and the intentions that we put behind them. So intentions are the things that are solid, right? They're the whys. They're the big things that make you want to do all the rest of the things. So for me, a big thing behind all of my goals has to do and is linked to family. That's one of my core values. And so if I make a health goal, my health goals are going to be linked to that. It's going to be so that I have energy, I have flexibility, I create longevity so that I can create legacy and memories with my kids and my grandkids. That's what's behind it. That doesn't change. I might try different programs. Right now, I'm going through some hormonal things. So I'm sitting here working on balancing. All of those things are fluid, and my goals in those areas kind of change. But the intention drives it. The intention drives the goal. And if I find that that goal is not working, it's because it's no longer aligning with my intentions, and I have to shift and adjust. Okay, so here's the 5 points I want you to think about. And I want you to put it on paper if you can, if you have a place where you can sit and write. And I want to welcome everybody for joining. Thank you so much. Monica, Katrina, Stacy, Melissa, for being here. If you got people in World Wide Web land that keep kind of coming in and out, I have people on YouTube. We're simulcasting. I want to welcome you guys. Put this down in pen to paper. So the reflection part of this really is about kind of, we take a look, we take a glance in the rearview mirror, because the rearview mirror, it's small for a reason, but it also teaches and guides us, right? It lets us know it gives us information. And that's what it's all about. So what information did you get from 2022? What information did that year feed you? And here's how I want you to think about it. So think about the people, the experiences, and the commitments that you had in your life last year. And I want you to, think about what triggered positive feelings, energy, and memories. And then I want you to write that down. What were those things? What are some positive memories that impacted you that they stand out to you? 2 or 3. Now I want you to also think about what negative feelings, energy, or emotions might have impacted you during the year. What stands out? And the reason we're going to look at those 2 things is because from those 2 things, we're going to ask ourselves, what's the biggest lesson we learned? because those two things are teaching us something. And then we're going to ask ourselves, what do you want more of? When you think about that and you think about moving forward, what do you want more of? Why did those things that sparked joy, created good memories, why were those feelings positive? And how do you build on that? And why did you have negative feelings about certain things? And then how do we crowd that out with the things that we want more of? And then the last thing and the last pointer that I want you to think about is that one thing that scares you. So a lot of us, I have a dream bug. I collect dreams on it. And a lot of people have a hard time tapping into their dreams. They don't know how to dream anymore. Now we've been kind of coming out of a cocoon. We've been not only shut in, but all the energies that are shifting and the things that are awakening right now. And we have to really start thinking about, how do we dream again? And when I approach people about this, they don't know what to think. And I say, okay, well, when I give you these areas, these key areas of life, when I talk to you about your career, your spirituality, or do you have fun? How are your relationships with your family and your friends? What are your finances like? How's your health? When I talk to them about these key areas and I ask them, okay, what is the one thing that you're scared of? But if you do it, it changes everything else. Because that one thing that you've been scared to commit to, I want you to know that that is your inner self talking to you. It's pulling you to that. And what's happening is our psyche knows that that's not comfortable. And so it becomes resistant. So what is that one thing that scares you, that you're scared to commit because you don't think it'll happen, or you don't think you are enough, or you don't think you're capable of making it happen? What is that one thing? And I want you to think of those areas that I just said. Now, we like to frame those areas in F's. I'm going to give them to you again because I want you to start thinking about them. One of them, when I say it's going to kind of hit you, and you're going to be like, oh, that's the one. And what is it in that area? So that's fitness. That's all things health and wellness, mental and emotional, both. Finance, family, field, your career, faith, your spirituality, friends, and fun. Now, you'd be surprised how many people I've run into lately who go, fun is the area that I'm lacking in. And in this country, that doesn't make that makes sense, because we're one of the most overworked developed countries in the world. So I want you to think about those areas and go, which one kind of hit me that I said, whew, I need to do something about that area. And then think about what that commitment is that you're scared of. So those are the 5 points that I want to talk about, or I wanted to kind of just throw out there to have you thinking about them. And then as we engage in the conversation, you guys can feel free to invite yourselves up to the stage at any given point, because I would love this to be kind of an open conversation. Sheila, did you have anything you wanted to add at this point?
Oh my gosh, I'm just like soaking it all up. You're just like the New Year's life coaching maven. I'm reading your ticker at the bottom, so that we can get back to, but that is a great mindset going into, and I'm going to come at this from the angle of energy when you want me to contribute. When I read that,
I'm losing you a little bit.
Because we think, and this is essentially where I have my phone right here. I'm about 1 block from my house. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, right now I can hear you. You're good.
Okay. We're moving from third to fifth dimension. And again, I can get into that more. I know I've brought that up many times before when we have spoken. And in third dimension, we measure everything so clinically. 12 months, I've got my goals, this is my list. Now, framework is a great way to work through achievements. That's phenomenal. But for the person who measures their goals in time, and you see a definite beginning and a middle and an end, things might not always and will not, I guarantee you, pan out the way you expect them to, or want them to, or plan them. And so when that happens, do we just sabotage and give up on the goal or the end result, or do we roll with it? And even when we get to that point, because this is how we're thinking, oh, I've achieved all my goals, well, I can just rest the rest of the year. I'm done. Or I've reached the pinnacle on my career. I'm done. There's always more work to be done. There's always more self-improvement. There's always more we can do better in our relationships. There's always more, even if you're retiring from your career, you can move into retirement and volunteer or help rebuild homes with Habitat for Humanity. There's always more that you can do with your health to constantly stay on the preventative end instead of being on the recovery end. So I love that quote. So I'm going to mute myself. I don't have anything to add to what you said. It was
So it's funny because the quotes come in here, and unless I change them, that's just what was handed to us. And so they've shuffled through some quotes, and we got some new quotes coming out for the new year. So it's nice to have that. But yeah, I love what you were saying too, is that the fluidity, and that's what I was talking about. Even though we talk about SMART goals and being able to set our goals in space and time, we also have to consider that last F. We've been joking about this for about a month now, of flexibility, right? Because our goals are not etched in stone. And that's because we are not etched in stone. We are constantly moving, shifting, and changing. And what we wanted 3 years ago might not be what we want. So if you've had something that's been lingering year after year, and you just keep rewriting it and keep saying you're going to do it, and it doesn't happen, it's a good thing to step back and say, okay, why is this not getting done? Does this matter to me still? And a really great example of that was, we were on a meeting. I was on a coaching meeting because, yeah, I get coached as well. And the founder of the company of one of my certifications, which is ULA, one of the founders talked about the fact that he had decided he was going to run 7 marathons in each of the 7, one in each of the 7 continents. So 7 marathons, 7 continents. Well, he put like a pictures of each continent, and when he ran a marathon, he slapped his medal on the picture, and he had them like in a little frame, and he had 4 frames full and 3 frames empty, and it's been, it was 3-4 years had passed, and he just was not getting to those last 3. But he said, every time I looked at it, I felt like a failure. I felt bad about myself for not doing the goal that I set. And then he realized, like, I'm the one who set the goal. Do I care about this anymore? And he realized, no, I don't care about it. He took them off the wall, took the goal off his list, and that's it. He moved on. He didn't need to have it staring in his face and making him feel bad about something that didn't matter to him anymore. So it is important for you to reflect. That's why we reflect. That's why we take a look at the prior year, and we kind of just sit there and go, okay, so what happened? What was good? What was bad? Why? And what matters to me moving forward? And if you have things that didn't happen, don't consider it a failure. Consider it a lesson, right? We don't fail, we learn. The only way you fail is if you quit. So you've just learned something about yourself. Maybe it's you don't want those things anymore. Maybe it's your career is shifting and the goals you had are not there anymore. Maybe, like Sheila said, you're in a time or phase in your life of retirement, And you don't need to approach things in the way you used to. Maybe your finances are shifting from, okay, I'm debt free, I've saved money, I'm retired. How can I give back? That's a shift. And we tend to kind of get stuck in loops of what we're expected to do, what we think we should do. And that's why resolutions fail, right? Like some of the top resolutions, you can probably rattle them off. Anybody here can probably rattle off what would be the top 3 to 5 resolutions. It's going to be weight change. It's going to be debt free. It's going to be quit smoking. It's going to be get healthy and eat right. It's going to be drink all the water you're supposed to drink. These are things that they just and people tend to write them or do them or set them out because they think that's what they should be doing. And I'm not saying any of those things in and of themselves are wrong, but really, hey, nice to see your face. It's not that they're wrong, but you have to make sure that that is actually your intention and not just something that is filling a space to say you've set resolutions, you know? And so I wrote an article recently for Food Guides, and I write for them from a holistic point of view, and that was the article that's live right now. That's my most recent article that I wrote for them that got posted right before the end of the year, and it was all about setting intentions versus setting resolutions and what that looks like. Because if we're not really putting the work into why we want to accomplish the things that we set out to do, then they're always going to fall flat. And I have some statistics in there that are really cool because there've been a lot of studies on this. And as it stands, barely about half of Americans even attempt to set resolutions. And of that, 92% of those people would say that they did not succeed at the things they set out to do. So when you think about only 8% of people that feel that they've accomplished something that they set out to do, there's a problem with the system. And so that's why, it's exactly why we coach it. But I love the energy side of it. And in your last 2 newsletters really brought out a lot about that. So talk to us a little bit about that, Sheila.
Oh my gosh, I channel when I write, so I have to pull it up. My daughter has can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine.
Mm-hmm. My daughter has my laptop. I usually keep it right here, so I have to just do a quick reference to the newsletter. What I wrote this week was, perception of time. So, I was really just, I was talking about when we start out the new year, we kind of bust out of the gates, but then we realize we have, Deanna, we've talked about this for a while. Like we have no energy, like we need January, usually March, we're feeling like the new year starting, right?
Yeah, so I actually used to run a group that said my new year starts in February. Because my past life was, it's true, like my past life was accounting and I couldn't think about anything in January.
So I think what I'm going to do while I'm talking is I'm going to put the link to the newsletter so that I don't have to refer to it. People can just look at it while I'm talking if they want. Yeah, it's there now. It's in the cookie. It's in the fortune cookie. I love fortune cookies. So basically, I was just in this. The one before I was a little more life coachy, which we can get back to that one if you want. But this one was more about the distorted perception of time. And I think one of the reasons that we get so we detract so much from our goals and the momentum that we create is that we get so pent up on time, and one of the things that's happening right now is collectively we're ending, all of us, major cycles, some about 10 years long. So if you can think about where you were at the end of 2012 going into 2013 and all the karmic relationships and dramas that played out the past 10 years, we're kind of like, we're done. So, which is good for those of us that did the work. It's good for those of us that didn't. Unfortunately, you still have to do that work before you get to graduate. And those that have been putting in the time and their energy and into themselves and letting go of situations and jobs and friendships, or perhaps for some of us, marriages that haven't worked, we're going to see the other side to that now, like that reward side. But what was the focal point of the energy part of that is the way that we see time is changing. So like in like third dimension, which is, where most of us were born, our kids that were born in the past 20 years were more born in that fifth dimension energy. So that's why we see kids so far ahead of where we were at their age, because they're coming in a higher consciousness. And so for us, for me, it's been a real shift in my perception of time. So time can feel like it's moving really, really fast. And then time can feel like it's moving really slow. And when you try and watch grass grow, do you really see it happen? No. But every summer, we have beautiful green grass for many of us that live in portions of the world where we don't have green grass year round. And so there's within us this sort of we have this intelligent consciousness. It's connected to the divine that helps to, things just happen. We go to sleep every night and we wake up. Our lungs work, our heart is beating, right? Our body eliminates. Like, it has this, we don't have to teach ourselves how to do that. Our body knows that. And if we could apply that level of intelligence to our goals and to the movement of time, we would be in a completely different, all of us would be in such an immense state of peace and harmony. Really, we would. Because if we weren't worried about how is this going to happen, but how am I going to get that new job, and how am I going to get that great relationship, and how am I going to make more money, we get caught up in the negativity, right? And what you were talking about, Deanna, even a month ago when we were on here, is intention. And so as long as our intentions are aligned with the energy that we have to move forward, the intention, the energy align, the goal is already done. Like, it's done before it even happens, right? The grass or the flowers that we see, they're already done. They were done like 6 months before, when people planted their bulbs in the fall. And now they're all coming to fruition, and people are like, oh my gosh, I love those tulips. You're so lucky. You have the best flowers in your garden. Well, you could do it. Like, you can plant seeds, or you can plant bulbs, and you can harvest and have a beautiful garden too. So it's just about the manifestation and the thoughts and the process that we put into that. And so a little bit about the timing portion is just, timing's going to feel a little fuzzy for some of us right now. It's not going to, I don't have the newsletter right in front of me because I don't want to keep flipping between the screens, but whatever I wrote about time, it has to do with the fact that you just kind of have to just kind of go with things. And I'll rein it in with a little bit of an example for everyone. So my change, like my F, I guess, that is a focal point of my year's career, is field. And it's field because I'm making some dynamic, scary changes, and who knows where it's going to land, but I know it's going to land in a good place because I believe that. But I started, just like when I wanted to get a new home, that was all in progress a couple years ago, months before it happened. So all the seeds for this got planted probably between August moving into October. And I made the decision in August to go through a continuing education program to become certified in hypnotherapy and rapid transformational therapy, RTT. And I did it because a lot of other things, it's a long story, and everything just sort of lined up at that time. And then I got into the program, and as I got further and further in, I work with an energy coach for myself, and she said, one of the things that we came to terms with was my complaint about my value. And so we needed to raise my value, my monetary value that I charge for my sessions. And so that went up on November 1st. Now in my head, I was like, no, you raise your rates on January 1st. That's what you do. But my coach said, no, the energy for you to do this is right now. And it was like October 28th. I'm like, this is crazy. This is not going to make sense. Doesn't feel right to me. It feels odd. November 1st? Why? She's like, just trust me. Like, this is when you need to do it. Do it now. I'm like, all right. This is why I have her, right? She helps me. I help other people. So I listened to her. A few days later, I put my newsletter out, made the announcement, much to the shock of my clients. I will say most of them were very supportive, but some of them were a little bit taken aback. I dialed through that piece. Okay. So now I have no idea. Like I say, they're curtains. Like you take one blind step or one step, not knowing what's coming, another curtain opens, like a whole curtain opened for me after that I didn't even see the timing for this. Okay. I knew eventually I would get a new office. I knew eventually I would upgrade, but it happened so fast. It happened like in a matter of weeks. I found my new office. I signed my lease. I got out of my old lease 6 months early. I got all the furniture for the office. I got an LLC. I got my business account, my business insurance. I mean, it's just like, and now I'm almost a month early, maybe with getting my certification done. If my video gets, if I get good feedback on that. So it's been just like, whew, my timeline just went like, whoosh, everything collapsed. All these timelines collapsed because all my lessons I learned, all the things the past 10 years that I've been working on, I did the work and then everything just collapsed. It's called like, I guess it's called in the energy world, like your timelines are collapsing. And so it brings in energy from like different dimensions. And so it just catapulted me. So if you had said to me back in October, or even if you said to me in July, Sheila, in 6 months, by the way, you're going to be certified almost in hypnotherapy, RTT, you're going to have a new office, you're going to have an LLC. I would have been flabbergasted and I would have been so stressed out. Like, tell me how this is going to happen. And it probably wouldn't have happened then because I would have been so anxious. I would have sabotaged it. So that's why it's so important to just try and be in the moment. I found out about RTT because I had an ear pickup moment with a colleague at work and she mentioned, I just happened to say hello to her and I engaged with her and she engaged with me and she said, oh, I think you'd really like this. Okay. So I checked it out. Oh, wow. I love this. I think I want to study this. No other expectation. Just study it. Just see where it goes. And then you see everything just leads in. So it's always good to have goals. But like you were saying, Deanna, it's also really important to really be open to timing shifting, just to say to yourself as you go into this new year, I am open, I'm here, I'm steadfast, I know what I want, this is what I want to get out of the year, this is what I want to focus on. But if things change, if I want to do 3 marathons and all of a sudden it's March and I feel like, you know what, that doesn't really suit me anymore. Like doing marathons is not what I want. I'm really into meditation. I think I want to go on a meditation retreat. Then that's what we're saying, right? Like just be willing to be flexible with your goals. You're not a failure if you don't continue on. In fact, you will go faster, much faster, if you are willing to just release expectation and roll with the things that maybe you're falling through that aren't working for you, release them, and then just kind of push yourself forward with that intention for wanting to do better in what area. So for me, it's career, and for you, it's family. So.
Right. And here's the thing that I find interesting, is that when you focus, because even in those areas, so like my family is probably a driver, but when I'm talking about my career, even though I want to build a career that supports my family and the other things that I'd like to do, like I want to create travel memories with my grandkids, right? So I need to make money to do that, right? But when I'm focused on my career is a field of service. And so I don't really and this is difficult, and it's taken a long time because I've been coaching since 2016. So it's taken me a long time, till maybe about last year, maybe a little bit before last year, to recognize that I don't need to chase the clients, right? That's the opposite of what you need to be doing. What you need to do is share how things have benefited you and help people. Help people. And the rest comes back around, where I have people who call me and go, "Oh, I need this help with this thing and that thing." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm doing this and that." And I met, for instance, yesterday I had coffee with somebody, and she's somebody I knew from high school, and she's having all these issues sleeping. And so we sat down and we had some coffee, because I said, I don't want to just um, throw things at you. I want to hear what's going on, so that we understand why this is happening. This all of a sudden starts happening in March of last year. I mean, something's going on. So we talked through that, and I said, I do a lot of work in trauma informed, and I want to make sure that we're taking care of you properly. And she's like, "I didn't know you were doing that, and I didn't realize that's what you were doing now." And she came to me for something else. She started talking to me about, how do I deal with this via supplements, via products.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, these could help, but here's the ones I think you need, and here's what else I think you need, because we got to get under it. And so, it's just about being out there and letting people know. And it's more about serving and giving. And I think when you do that, the rest of it kind of comes back around.
Yeah, I mean, all of it. I know that works for you, and that's phenomenal. I think who's ever watching on replay or here, not everybody has a career that's focused on service, but what is viable to anyone listening is that, I will say, when it comes to abundance, the more your field career, like not field goal like football, but like the more your field goal is in some way connected to your divine purpose, and in some way connected to making this world a better place, you are going to prosper infinitely. When you're connected to that innate intelligence, knowing that what you're doing is what you're born to do. And if you don't know what that is, going to bed at night and just meditating and asking for that knowledge to come to you, and it will. And also being connected within that purpose, whatever it is, for it to somehow add light to this world in some way, right?
Right.
So, I mean, even if you're a stockbroker, or you're in money markets or whatever that is, like in some way, like you are helping to create a retirement portfolio for your clients so they have a nest egg, or there's some value to that actually helps make this world better, not just to create more money for yourself. That's really where we're all getting like pushed into collectively, is to get connected to our purpose, and that purpose in some way is serving this world so that it has more light, more peace, more harmony. Because when we are doing something that gives, like we're giving to some, we're still getting the value where we get like our fee or our rate for our job or whatever, our commission. Right. But when we give, and we're giving something that's actually making the world a better place, like it comes back to you like tenfold, and then you use that abundance to just continue to push more, out into the world.
Right. And so you look at it, it's a fair exchange, right? It doesn't matter how you look at it. It's all reciprocal. But you can't get reciprocal energy if you're not delivering anything. If you're not pushing that out, like you said, then you're not going to be able to create that to come back to you. There's nothing there for you to bring it back around. And it's not the reason you do it, but it is the way it works. And so if you shift your focus, and that's what I was saying, is I had to shift my focus as to how I approached it, as opposed to going, oh, I gotta go to this place and see who's going to be willing to pay me. This whole marketing thing, and I'm like, I'm no good at it. I'm no good at it. That is 100% sure. I'm much better at having coffee with people, but it does make like such a big difference when the way and the thing behind the approach changes.
Well, there was no pressure. You put no pressure on yourself. You were doing something that felt very natural. And that sometimes we think in order to do something, we have to tell people what we're doing for them to find us. And it's really the opposite. It's like, just do yourself, like be yourself and interact with people the way you always have. And they're going to feel your energy and your gifts and talents. Like it will come to the surface and people will then find you. So I have your questions. You have a lot of questions.
What are you doing? Right.
So what should we, you want to bring
I would love people to come up if you guys, if you guys are willing to share. I would love for you guys to come up. Can I start inviting them up? I mean, I hate to put people on the spot, so I usually try to say, hey, add yourself to the stage, but I'll invite a couple of people. And then, they can decide to ignore me. You guys can totally ignore me if you want to. Thanks, Monica. And I'm going to invite Katrina. We only have a few people live here in the room. So
yay, I'm going to mute myself. Those were really good questions, those 5 questions.
Oh, good. That's a combination of something I did with the Ulapalooza, but also some stuff that I heard with Mel Robbins. And I was just like, I want to put them all together. So, hey, Monica, I'm so sorry I missed your show today. I'm so like behind on the times right now.
No worries.
How'd it go?
It's fabulous as always. You know that.
Fabulous, always. What you got to add here?
You know what? I'm going to sound like I'm a dinosaur. And what I mean is that I'm just authentic and prehistoric. I'm so good, and you know that, but I think it has everything to do with the way my outlook on life. I mean, you guys know I'm a private detective. I'm also a certified life coach, and I'm a certified life coach because I deal with so many people in so many different areas and levels that as an investigator, I can't just conduct an investigation. A lot of times when you're bringing people information, if it's adultery, if it's a missing person or whatever, you have to be able to leave people whole, not just bring information. So that same application that I apply to my clients, I apply to my own life. So I really strive to be balanced. And that's, looking at my shit, and if I don't like it, making a conscious decision to change it. But I'm happy. I don't allow negative energy in my life. I don't allow drama in my life. I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years. So I'm in a position now where I can really control who, what, when, where, and how. And everybody doesn't have that. But even if you don't have that ability as far as being an entrepreneur and kind of calling your shots, you still have that control to, even if it's with your coworkers, if you have a boss that's abusive or abrasive or whatever, you have a responsibility to, protect your spirit and your energy, where people can't be abusive and abrasive. So I'm good. I'm happy. I'm balanced. Finances are great. Spirit's great. I'm in tune with who I am because I check in with myself, Deanna. I really do. I check in, and if I don't like it, I do something about it.
And that's something I'm going to add to that with what you're saying, because this is one of the key factors is awareness. So you're checking in with yourself, and that's a very good point to make, because one of the reasons we do this reflection and these 5 things that I talked about when we started was this brings awareness, right? This helps you to reflect and bring that awareness up. Not everybody is aware in every moment. It takes practice to be aware and to be present so that you can make adjustments in the present time.
Absolutely.
And so I commend that, because you are aware and adjust as you roll, and not everybody has that capability yet. but we're learning. I think Sheila will say this too, as a society, we're growing and we're shifting and we're learning and we're starting to understand that that is such a key factor. So I don't think, like I love that you say, "Oh, I'm a dinosaur," and I'm going to sound crazy, but it's not. You have had this approach, and it's amazing because you managed to do that in a place where people our age don't always do that.
You know what? And I'll say this. I know that you didn't pick that little fortune cookie, and I noticed that it's gone. Hallelujah. Um, I didn't agree with that fortune cookie because I'm going to tell you why. I see so many people that are on this hamster wheel where they don't know how to get off that sucker. They don't have any balance. So when you see a fortune cookie that say the way that you get past great work is more work, that's some bull cocky, because that teaches people to be manic and frantic and kinetic, and that's what's wrong with people now. I mean, and I know I'm gonna sound like I'm crazy, but I look at these people. I literally, a lady walked into me the other day, literally walked into me because she was so engrossed on her cell phone. And she walks into me and I stood there and I said, "Really?" And she said, "Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed." And I said, "Let me ask you a question." I said, "What were you just checking?" "My Facebook." And I said, "So your Facebook is more important than you literally walking into me?" I said, "Do you understand that if I had not been a person, you would have walked into traffic?
Or a pole or a
Or a
door.
pole, or, but see, that's what I mean about we have to help people to find the balance. So when that little fortune cookie says, well, the way that you get more great work is work. No, no, no. You need to slow your roll and find balance.
Well, I think that, I think in the way Sheila was looking at that was saying that when you put good work into the world, it creates more work. So, you can, but I get what you're saying, because it's not about staying on that hamster wheel. You
Exactly.
guys, I watched this video. You'll appreciate this, and I'm going to have to go find it. If you guys follow me on social media, go hit my Instagrams. I'm going to put this up in a story, and I'll put the link in there. There is this video we recently watched, and the name of the video, it's like a little short. It's probably about, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes, and it's called Rat Race, and you have to watch it. It's insane. It will
Wow.
change the way you look at everything you're doing. So we don't want to be in the rat race. We're
For
trying to move
sure.
away from the race. And I get that. I get that. And that's why I said that energy that I was putting into things, say 6, 7 years ago, when I'm
Yeah.
putting that energy into things, and it was like that. It was frantic. It was desperate. Right.
Yes.
And
Oh,
now just calm down. You've gotten through everything so
exactly.
far. You're going to get through this. And instead of that frantic energy and that desperate energy,
Yes.
build your confidence, so that, and your belief in yourself, because your value is something the whole world needs,
Yes.
and put that out there. Let's
Absolutely.
see. Katrina had a comment. Let's see if I can figure out how to see that. Okay, here we go. I'm just listening, taking. Okay, good. Yeah, I just invited everybody up because I wanted everybody to have a chance to speak. So she's saying she's launching her new podcast, Natural Essence. And while I'm empowering women, it is to empower myself as well. Look, Katrina, I can't agree with you more. I love that you're launching that, but I can't agree with you more. One of the things, one of the reasons I went into coaching, or went to get my coaching certification, was for me. It was for my own healing. It was because I needed it. What I realized when I was going through the certification is that everybody needs it. And so when I coach clients, there's not a single client that I have ever coached that I did not learn as much, if not more, than I ever stood alongside somebody and mentored them. They teach you all the time. So I love that that's what you're doing, because it is true. It's needed. congratulations on launching your podcast. By all means, come back anytime, promote it. You can get on the stage and talk. I don't mind at all. I think there's space and room for everyone. So, and we all kind of will, if we do it right and we do it authentically, like you, Monica, said, we are going to draw the people to us that relate to us. And that's how we help each other. That's how we help each other.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what I love about you, about your show is, you don't preach, because a lot of these shows preach, and I think that leadership comes by example. If I can see, like I saw you, we follow each other on IG, and I saw the beautiful pictures of you with your family, and you were shopping and skiing and laughing, and I saw fun and balance with you. See, that's what I mean about why it's so important to find the balance between that work, life, home, spirit. Find that balance. And most people, they're either uber successful, but they just suck at being a mom or a dad, or you know what I'm saying?
Husband, wife, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Something's getting sacrificed.
Something's getting sacrificed somewhere. So you have to put in the work to find that balance, not just for other people, because people do watch how you live your life. And they will model what they see, So for me, I can't just talk the talk. My life has to reflect what I'm saying, because I have too much influence on too many people. And you do too as well, Deanna. And that's what I love about your show, because you give people practical advice, not this preachy crap that ain't nobody going to damn listen to and apply to their lives anyway. So I'll be quiet.
I love it. Sheila, you got stuff to add?
No, I just kept getting bummed off. So I'm just.
Oh, I thought you took your camera off for a reason. I didn't know what was going on.
No, I'm winging it here. And to add to what Monica said, like just, being present with yourself, calling yourself out. If something's not working, you don't need to get your answers from other people, or ego. I guess that can be a big driver on how we make our decisions and who we align with. And sometimes it just helps to, get real present with yourself, and then to be real and transparent with people. I'm not a leader. You're not a leader. We're just people. We're just people having experiences, sharing our knowledge, sharing our successes, sharing our failures. I lost my mom this year very unexpectedly, obviously, that the fact that it was just instant. It was like she was literally here, and then in 1 minute she was gone. That, for me, so getting back to your questions, Deanna, I don't know if I would call that the biggest failure of 2022. I mean, it blindsided a lot. It blindsided all of us.
And it wasn't that wasn't the question. It was really just about what triggered negative feelings, negative energy.
Okay, well, triggered negative. Well, on that, okay, right. So not failure, but it's the same thing to me. It's like failure, negativity. It's like in that same bucket,
just
right?
Put you in this emotion that was low.
Right. It's just right. And to the point of that, like it sort of like sucked all the air out of anything that I had volume or momentum with. It was just like living in a daze, in a bad dream for a while. You just have to drop everything and go into survival mode and just figure out what to do next. And so, but the good that came out of that, and the lessons that came out of that for me were, life is short. You can do this without your mom. She's still with you, even if she's not here with you physically. And there may have been a bit of codependency on my part, that I just needed to know my mom was there so I could get things done. I needed to know that her love, she was here, physically present in this world, and just being able to like keep going, and then saying, I need something else. Like, I can't waste any more time thinking about what I want to do next. What?
one of the things I noticed as you were going through that, and I'm going to tell you this from an outsider, and I probably never actually said it to you before, so I'm going to just
Oh,
say it to you right now. So hold on. So, anyway, but one of the things, and I saw it in some of your posts, but I really took notice of it, and that was the fact that you felt like you were able to step into and fulfill that matriarchal role in your family, where that presence was not there anymore, that you had enough from your mom to be able to step into those shoes in whatever way you decided that was going to look. But I noticed that, and I saw you doing that, I mean, admirably, with your kids and all the things. So even through that, I looked at you and I was like, wow, like, it's not just that she's going through the process of grieving, but she's stepping into
yeah.
what she wants to pull from
Um,
that. And it was
Thank you.
beautiful. So
Thanks.
I noticed
Thank
it.
you.
So just so you know that I could really embarrass you right here on the screen.
No. It's just it's losing a loved one, losing a parent. It's humbling. Like you really start to think about, wow, I could be next. There's no, you lose a grandparent, and then you lose a parent, and then there's you, and you're like, wow, like this is it. It's like a very slow conveyor belt. Like I could be next. And
Yeah.
that's not the way
Yeah.
I think. That's not the way I think. But certainly it provided me
It
with
wakes,
some. Hmm?
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
no,
was
no,
saying it
no.
wakes something up in you.
It just provided like a little fire underneath me. It's
There
like
you go.
don't have time to waste in relationships. If it doesn't feel right, it was just more like, if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. If it
Yeah.
doesn't feel right, don't do it. Where I would
I
just,
love it.
oh, but I don't want to hurt their feelings, or, oh, that goal's been on my list for 2 years. I don't want to give up on. No, I'm not going to do it. If it doesn't feel right, just move on.
I love that. And
Yeah.
that's where, I mean, I think the earlier we can get to that place, the better. Monica has that on lock. So yeah. So I just, that being said, hi Kathleen. I haven't seen you in forever. By all means, come up on the stage and chat with us. You're more than welcome. I'd love to hear your voice. But I'll give you a quick recap of these questions just so that you have them as we kind of wind down, because I think that there are good ways to contemplate and reflect. To not spend a lot of time in the past, that's not the idea. We just want to spend enough time there to become aware, to learn our lessons, and to move forward. And there's a lot of ways that you can do this. And I'm going to share something with you when I'm finished this. But so the first part of this is talking about the people, experiences, and commitments that you had last year. Which ones triggered positive feelings, positive energy, good memories, positive memories? I want you to consider it and write it if you can get to that, right? And then I want you to look back and go, what triggered negative feelings, energy, or emotions? And then ask yourself, of those things, what's the biggest lessons that you got? Right? Those three right there are going to help direct. If you can get through these 5 questions, you're going to have direction, is what you're going to have. So then the fourth one is, what do you want to do more of? Decide. And it's just like Sheila just said, I don't have time for the things that don't matter. The things I used to tell myself that I'd worry about because of other people and external factors, no more. No more. So what do you want more of? And then what's that one thing that you have been scared to commit to because you think it's not going to happen, or you think you're not enough, or you think you can't do it? There's something pulling at you to do that. It's there for a reason. Follow it. Just follow it. Now, I'm going to share something with you because I've been doing some doodling and using art to kind of release and just kind of let if you have problems or trouble meditating and quieting your mind, doodle or do some type of free flowing artwork, right? Do something. I don't care if it's dancing. I don't care if it's slapping. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be pretty. You're not selling it. It's just for you. But I did the doodling classes. I'm not finished all of them, but one of them I used to do this reflection. And this is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see it. That's kind of sideways. It's technically this way, but this has got all different times of the year. Look, I have my podcast happen last year. I have a lot of my guests written up here, right? That was a big thing that brought me good, positive, beautiful energy and feelings doing this show. So it made it to the page, right? And then, date nights, the Van Gogh experience. I have stuff written in there, but I also have, my uncle had a stroke and my world was like crazy between my husband's surgery, my mom's surgery, and my uncle's stroke. All happened within a month. And it was a lot. And so that pulled my energy. It sucked my energy. It sucked my time. It made me lose focus and direction because I had to focus on something else. My intention still stayed. And that's why I talk about intention, what's behind what you're doing. Because my intention stayed the same, but something came up that had to be addressed. And so I had to pause other things and shift. And so it's okay. It's okay. And when that passed and I moved through that, then I get back to what I need to do. And that's it. I was exactly where I needed to be at those moments. And I was grateful that I actually had the ability to be where I needed to be. Right? Because the work that I've done till now has led me to a place where I have some time that I can move things around and be able to be there. So I went through that. And then what I did was I went next and did some intentions and some big just kind of things that I know I want to get done next year. They're not in any massive smart format or anything like that. It's just things that I want to do, some intentions. And I made a little dream bubble page and I put them out there, right? I looked at those areas of my life that I graded myself and said, okay, these areas are a little low. These areas might be causing me to be a little bit out of balance. And if you guys want to do an assessment, a life assessment, I have a free life assessment. Just go to my website, deannawellness.com. It'll help you kind of see where you're a little bit wonky, right? And then I took some of the things in those areas and I said, how do I pump that up? And what areas are really good that I can use to assist me to pump that up? Like my friendships, my family, they're on point. It's 10. I'm off the charts. My fun is probably a little too much. Might need to pull back a little bit. Okay? If I'm going to be balanced. But I can take those areas and combine them with other things so that I can help pull the areas that are a little low up and back into balance. So it's just kind of a way of just kind of looking at it and moving through it. So that's, for me, this was a way for me to kind of quiet the noise in my mind by doing it through this kind of artwork. It's not pretty. Ain't nobody going to buy these dream bubbles from me, will never happen. They are not impressive, but they make an impact for me in my journal, and they sit in my journal. That's in my actual journal so that I can go back to them whenever I need to and just take a look and encourage myself and keep my mind tracked, focus, Deanna. One of my things, lack of focus.
Thank you for sharing that. I love that.
Yeah. So Kathleen, do you want to come up and talk real quick before we head off?
I'm going to have to bow out because I get up at like 5:30, 6 in the morning, and I'm falling asleep. But I'll see you from my new office, better Wi-Fi, better everything next month.
Excited.
Okay. And thank you for letting me be a part of your show.
Oh, we're co-hosting a show. It's your show too. Well, I have a question for you real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick. Those keys that you showed a picture of, was that your teaser for your office? Ah! She's killing me. I hope there's not nothing else. I'm going crazy. All right. All right. Well, we'll see you next
I
time.
guess.
Thank you,
Okay.
Sheila, so much for
All
showing
right,
up.
Kathleen, I'll look at the replay and listen to Kathleen talk after. Thank you for letting me
All
be here.
right. Bye.
Okay, bye.
I'm going to invite her up. I don't know if she's going to come, but I'll give you a minute, Kathleen. I just would like to say hi, and then we'll bow out. Hey, girl, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Oh, good.
How are you? I
Okay.
haven't
Yeah,
talked to you in, I don't know. Oh, it feels like forever.
I know, right? Yeah, no, I took a bit of a hiatus, but yeah, I started back up again, and I'm excited to be here. And I'm so glad that you and Barsha were my first two comebacks and checking out
Oh, good.
episodes and things like that. So, no, I'm super
Awesome.
excited. It's a good year.
Oh, awesome. So what will you be going back into your gratitude show here, or are you going to shift and change to something else? What are you doing?
No, I'm going right back into a year of gratitude, but just on a weekly basis. And then
Mm.
I am going to do the guided journey through the Hollow Quest. It's kind of like a tarot journey for finding your
Oh,
personal grail.
oh, fun.
Yeah, and then I decided to do one with the record label, a little bit of a thing called Lyrical Matter. And you know how much I
Oh,
believe
yeah.
that the words that we listen to, kind of guide our subconscious. So deep diving into some songs and some artists, and so there'll be just 6 episodes, just 3 in the spring and 3 in the fall.
I love that lyrical matter. It's funny. Somebody said to me once, um, it might have been my mom or my grandmother because I'm sure I was listening to something that I was getting in trouble for, right? Now you shouldn't be listening to that music, me, right? And I said it doesn't matter. I don't, the words don't matter. That doesn't matter. It doesn't impact me. And they said you wouldn't listen to it if it didn't matter. And I was like,
Hmm.
nailed it.
Absolutely.
So there you go. I can't wait to see your
Yeah, but
shows.
from
I
your
appreciate you.
perspective, it's also, yeah, like from your mom's perspective, she's hearing it one way, and from your perspective, you're hearing
Ah,
it another. And it's like.
right. That's a whole nother thing to explore, right? Oh my goodness. All
Exactly,
right.
right? Yeah,
Well, look, I
absolutely.
appreciate you jumping up here. Do you have any good
No
things you want
worries.
to share about the new year, or is it just your shows? Or I don't mean to put you
Well,
on the spot. You don't have
actually,
to share anything.
no, that's
Go.
okay. I was listening to you were doing, writing down the things, the negative impact things and the positive impact things, and
Uh
I'm
huh.
excited. I'm going to actually do that as soon as I get off the phone with you. I
Awesome.
whipped out my journal and I have a fresh page open because
Oh,
I think that's
good.
a great practice. I think that's wonderful. But it was weird. I just wanted to share with you. My husband and I have been talking about making positive change and
Mm-hmm.
things like that, right? Just kind of
Mm-hmm.
moving forward. And he has a new album coming out in June of this year called Live Now. And so we were kind of revolving all of our, life around this whole concept of living to your best purpose and that sort of thing.
Right.
And so on New Year's Eve, we were like, okay, last hurrah, blah, 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 doing the typical, human jumping into that new thing. And we woke up in the morning, and then he's an epileptic, and he had a grand mal seizure,
Oh
and he's
no.
never had one in 15 years. And all of a sudden, it just kind of came up, and we were like, okay, this is our clear message for everything that we've been talking about for the past few weeks, months, leading up to this whole change. And now it's just like it's, kind of hit us right in the face. We're like, yeah, it's actually really serendipitous. Like you do walk through life and you take these chances, and then the universe will tell you when you're on the right path,
Yes, it will. Yes,
and you
it
don't get
will.
to
And
choose how, right?
it will also tell you when you're not.
That's right.
And if you don't listen, it's going to keep telling you till
Telling
you
you.
listen.
Yeah. So we're going to listen, and we're going to have a great year of living now.
Awesome.
And it's going to be fantastic. I hope to see you come on to the show on Sunday
Oh,
nights, and I'll be here
definitely.
regularly peeking in on you.
Yeah, definitely. And you're all always welcome on the stage here. I don't
Thank
even
you.
have myself together for this year with guests. I have a women's retreat. It's this weekend. So it's our first ever women's retreat. So we're going to be doing that. And I will be excited to come back and tell you guys about that next Tuesday. Don't have a guest planned, but I'm hoping that the girl who's doing the retreat with me, who is not an Apple person, shame on her, will get her iPad from me and get on the show with me so that we can share together how everything went with the retreat. Because I have a feeling that we're going to be pretty freaking excited. We sold out the retreat, and I just think it's going to be amazing. So I'm super excited about that. And our intention and our plan with that is to take the retreat on the road so that we can come to any place, set up and do a retreat for you locally, but help you get out of your home, right? So we're doing it here first. And the people who are traveling are only traveling maybe 2-3 hours to come to the retreat. So they're in their local town, but they aren't having to go far. But it's just enough to not be in your environment, to just plop yourself into a new environment of peace and serenity and pour into yourself and take care of yourself. And then go home and be the best you can be for the people around you, because that's what you want. But you can't be that if you're spent. So that's what the retreat is about. And I'm going to be excited to bring that and share about that next week with you guys. And hopefully, if you guys wanted to come to your city or town, start reaching out because we're planning to book up the year. All right. Well, that's it. That's all I have for you guys today, unless Monica or Kathleen have anything else you want to say before I sign off. If not,
I'm
We're all
good.
good. We just
Happy
love
New
you.
Year.
Happy New
good.
Year.
Love y'all too. Thank you so much. Y'all too. I hope everybody has a fabulous year, 2023. This is our year, peeps. It's always our year. Okay. I see you. You are beautiful. Till next time, you guys shine on. I'm going to play you out with a little bit of music from Dan. Maybe.